Welcome to This Daring Adventure podcast, where we work on bridging the gap between where we are and where we want to be in order to live a bigger and bolder life. In this podcast, we will provide inspiration, tips, and skills you need to make your life the adventure you want it to be. Here's your host, mindset mentor, and life coach, Trista Gurton.
Hey everybody, welcome back to This Daring Adventure. So today the episode is on micro actions, but before we dive into that, I want to welcome you to December. There is a little snow on the ground. Christmas preparations are in full swing. I'm watching my brain want to eat everything, all the cookies, all the chocolate. It started already, getting into that festive holiday spirit. And I'm trying to watch it, not actually do it. So it's interesting. It's not easy, but it's an interesting experiment. And I know I've worked so hard. Gosh, I'm trying to think since probably May when I really started running and walking and recently doing a bit of weight. So I haven't been that successful in taking the weight off, I will tell you. But definitely, my legs have toned up, my arms have toned up. And I don't want to gain any weight over the holidays. But really, it's an experiment of me being the person that I want to be. And this is why this ties into micro actions today. But it is thinking consciously and making these decisions not through willpower and not through discipline, but thinking about who I want to be and the person that I want to be that's not eating all the mini eggs and all the turtles and continuing to eat healthfully while still enjoying myself from time to time, of course. But the point is, it's important to me to be going through this month, not just not trying to put on weight, but to become the person who doesn't eat like that. And so that does take a case by case, decision by decision action protocol. And this is where micro actions can be helpful. So I wanted to dive into that today. And all of this is with the view that I am going to offer Shift 2026 in my coaching community, You Redefined, where we're going to do the deep work of real change, sustainable and doable change. Not New Year's resolutions, but going through a 12-week process where you learn how to make changes in yourself and in your life in a way that is truly sustainable and truly meaningful and truly powerful. Not just, I'm going to start on January 1st going to the gym every day. Because those don't work. But this process of change will give you the tools and skills you need to take the action that you want, create the result that you want, and to ultimately shift your identity so that you are that person who does those things. And so we start here with these micro actions. And these are just tiny decisions, small steps that help you to transform the identity of who you are and who you're becoming. And listen, the reason why we want to start with micro actions is because they are the opposite of overwhelming. They are anti overwhelm. They are how you create massive change without intensity, pressure, or burning your life down. This is especially important if you want to create change, deep, meaningful change, but are feeling tired, stretched, unsure, or just fed up. This episode is your permission slip to stop trying to reinvent your entire life in one dramatic move. That's not necessary. And you become the person you want to be with one tiny, consistent step at a time. So let's dive in. Your life changes through small, repeated actions, not gigantic, heroic ones. Your brain actually hates giant actions. Giant actions feel dangerous. Giant actions activate your inner drama queen. But micro actions are just small enough that they can slip under the radar. And there's a message to your brain that it doesn't need to freak out. We're just doing this tiny little thing. It's not a problem. It's not a big deal. But that tiny thing becomes a vote. It's a vote for your new identity, the identity you want to become, the woman you are going to be. You make that choice to be her now. And that's how identity is built. It's not about intensity, but it's about repetition, showing up and making those decisions every single day. So listen, I know that we are carrying a lot. And especially if you've reached midlife, you've lived 5 decades and taken care of other people, juggling careers, relationships, kids, aging parents, curveballs, reinventions, separations, divorces, disappointments, unrealized dreams. It's okay that you're feeling overwhelmed. It's okay that you hesitate. It's okay that you feel behind sometimes. And this is why those micro actions will work, because they meet you where you are. And they're not asking more of you than you can give, but they help you to build momentum without draining you, because all of that momentum, discipline, motivation, all those things are easier at the beginning when your resolution or your big change is fun and new. Your brain is excited, and then the novelty wears off and the work really hits home. So we're not going to go through that process. We're going to start really small. Now, listen, one of the biggest mistakes women make is thinking that they must feel like their future self before they start acting like her. And I would say you have to take the action first and then feel. The feeling is really important, don't get me wrong. But if you can take the smallest possible version of the action, then you can start to shift your identity. Micro actions are not about the outcome, but they are about the rehearsal and the process. You are rehearsing the identity of your future self. If you want to become a woman who is calm and emotionally regulated, one 60-second check-in a day helps you to start rewiring your nervous system. And you can do a 60-second check-in, right? If you want to become a woman who trusts herself, one tiny decision you follow through on every day starts building your self-concept. If you want to be a woman who prioritizes her health, a 5-minute walk every day tells your brain, I am a woman who moves her body. This is who we are now. Identity first, and then the results come later. So, what do micro actions actually look like? Let me give you some examples. So your brain doesn't spin out and say, I don't know what to do, because that's exactly what brains love to do. These are micro actions. A 1-minute emotional check-in. Close your eyes, breathe, name the emotion. Feel it for 30 seconds, and you're done. Take a 5-minute walk. You don't need to run a marathon. Just take yourself outside like someone who cares about herself. 1 drawer cleaned. Not the house, not the garage. 1 drawer. If you can clear 1 drawer, you're no longer drowning in clutter. What about 1 boundary practiced? Actually, I'm not available tonight. That sentence is a micro action that builds an entire identity. 1 intentional thought. Instead of saying, I'm too old for this, try, I'm learning something new. That's it. That's a micro action. Another micro action could be 1 future self question. Does this decision take me closer to the woman I want to become? Ask it once a day. Watch how your life redirects. None of these actions feel big, and they're not supposed to, but done consistently, they become unstoppable. The results compound easily. And compounding in the simplest way means at first, nothing really looks different. And your brain will try to convince you it's not working because it's looking for problems and it's looking for drama. And it will tell you that this doesn't matter. This is too small. This won't change anything. And that's the moment right there where most people will quit. But the 1% keep going and they understand the math of identity because here's what actually happens. You start to trust yourself, your confidence grows, your inner critic gets quieter because you follow through, and your follow through gets louder. And your nervous system relaxes because the consistency is soothing. And then you wake up one day and you're not the woman who's stuck anymore. You're the woman who takes action. You're the woman who follows through. You're the woman who knows how to build what she wants. You don't need no motivation. You don't need a big transformation. You just need a tiny step repeated over and over until it became who you are. So listen, you're not stuck because you're unmotivated. You're not stuck because you're confused. You're not stuck because it's too late or you're too old. What happens is we get stuck because we're trying to leap the entire transformation in one dramatic jump. It's huge. It seems like a lot. And you keep trying to change everything at once. So what we're going to do is we're going to stop leaping and we're going to start layering. We're going to stop intensity and start consistency. Stop trying to burn your life down and start building the bridge 1 plank at a time. And that bridge is going to be made entirely of micro actions. If you want to get started today, you first must decide the identity shift. Who are you becoming? Who is she? What does she want? What does she want to create? Is it calm, healthy, confident, creative, boundaried? Pick one. Then choose 1 micro action that feels almost too small. If it feels tiny, you're doing it right. 3, you can anchor it to something you already do, and that will help you to build and gain a little bit of momentum. After coffee, do a 1-minute check-in. After brushing your teeth, practice 1 intentional thought. After lunch, go for a 5-minute walk. Next, you want to track it. 1 check mark a day builds belief. If you can get a habit tracker, and I will actually add one in the show notes. You can download it. Checking off those boxes each day when you've completed the micro action, your brain loves that, right? You get a little dopamine hit. Do that for 30 days, your brain will love you. It will feel so amazing. Finally, then, you want to celebrate. You, by doing these micro actions, are literally rewriting and rewiring your brain. Celebrate it. Enjoy it. Be proud of yourself. Listen, you do not need to overhaul your life, and you don't need to wait until January or when the kids leave or when you retire or when things calm down. You can begin today with one tiny decision. You don't need to wait for a perfect version of you. Start taking the smallest possible steps towards what you want. One micro action today. That's how change happens. All right, my friends, go take that tiny step. It's going to compound in ways you can't even imagine. If you want to join me in You Redefined for our Shift 2026, starting the first week of January, I would love to see you there. Not only will you get to participate in this deep dive into change, creating whatever it is you want, building those tools and skills, you will also have access to a 30-minute coaching session with me each month, videos on demand, all of my best resources, tools, and skills are available to you there. We're going to have a planner for 2026 available as a part of this process, a workbook, and all of the support you need. There's a private podcast. There are all sorts of amazing resources that are on that platform. It's yours when you sign up today for $19 US. Every month, $19, you can cancel at any time. I would absolutely love to see you there. We're building an amazing little community there, and you will have direct access to me and all of the support and accountability you want. Thank you for joining me today. Listen, if you have a moment to rate, review, share, and subscribe to the podcast, I would greatly appreciate it. I don't know about you, but I listen to some of these podcasts and they're all the bros, all the guys with all of the information and all of the tips and tricks for men. I want to get something out there for the women. I think that's really important. We have that power, and I would appreciate your support. So let other people know about this podcast, and definitely please rate and review. I would really appreciate it. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.